and we should be rocking and a rolling. What is up, guys? Welcome to DCTV. I'm your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news throughout the Cincinnati. Hold on, let me restart that. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to DCTV. I'm your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news here in the greater Cincinnati area. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and well, I always say get active in the comment section, but we are live here on YouTube and Facebook in this stream. And big breaking news, I guess, for a lot of people. Joe Burrow just signed his contract. It's finally official. It's on ink and paper. It's finally a deal. I've seen so many Bengals fans stressing in the league or just stressing on social media saying, oh my gosh, Joe Burrow, is he having second thoughts, yada, yada, yada. You know, national media's in there saying, oh, Joe Burrow might be holding out, or, oh, Joe Burrow's trying to get ink every penny, or, yeah, whatever. Here it is. Joe Burrow finally signs. Breaking news, apparently, even though I thought this was kind of easy news, whatever. If you're new around here, make sure you leave that like, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. But yeah, so essentially that's the big news. Joe Burrow finally signs his contract, and for a lot of people, I guess it was big news. For me, I never really panicked, and some people even were in my comment section and my Twitter DMs like, hey, what's going on with Joe Burrow? And I was like, it's probably just taking longer because of everything with COVID and everything like that. But yeah, it is said and done. Joe Burrow is officially a Cincinnati Bengal for the next half a decade at least. And yeah, the contract is underway. It's a pretty reasonable contract. I think it's around $9 million a year, something like that, give or take. So we finally got Joe Burrow, the number one pick in the NFL draft. Yeah, I know that is I think the top 5 picks are finally locked up. But there's still a bunch of first rounders across the NFL that still need to sign. And I think T. Higgins is the only Bengals left not to sign, I believe. So yeah, it has finally happened. WHODEY. We finally got Joe Burrow, and let me tell you, I'm very excited. And I don't know how long I'm gonna stream. I might stream for a few hours. I might just stream for a couple minutes. I just wanted to hop on here and make sure everyone is up to date. I'm sure you guys are finally excited just as much as I am with the breaking news of Joe Burrow finally being a Cincinnati Bengal officially. Now, my first thoughts on when, people on Twitter and social media were a couple days ago saying, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals? And my kind of thoughts were COVID. Like, everything is a little bit delayed in sports, and especially the National Football League this season or this offseason. And it's because of COVID. And that's probably Joe Burrow's case. I knew it was going to get done. It's just, the matter of time. And I guess if it was right for both sides. So yeah, it's said, it's done. And it's time for some Joe Burrow. Cincinnati Bengals football, and let me tell you, I couldn't be more excited. What is up, my man? How you doing? I saw you in the premiere earlier. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. If we get a lot of people flowing in here, I'll probably stay live. If not, this will just be a couple minutes stream. I just wanted to get this information out there because a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening! It's happening!" Yes, it happened, and Joe Burrow is a Cincinnati Bengal finally. My thing was, I was a little bit more realistic of the situation. Joe Burrow was literally studying the playbook before he even got drafted. Before the draft night, Joe Burrow already had a Cincinnati Bengals offensive playbook, was already studying before he even got drafted. So I don't know why everyone has been panicking. But yeah, at least we got Joe Burrow. We still have a couple other guys to sign. I think T. Higgins and I believe Mackenzie Alexander. It's either Mackenzie Alexander or Trey Waynes, I believe one of the other guys. We're still waiting on, but I'm sure, through these next few days, everything's going to get told. I mean, you guys got to think, these guys are just now arriving in Cincinnati this past week and a half, just about to get in the training camp here in a week or two, a few days. So you got to think, give these guys some time. COVID's happening. Everything's slowing down a little bit. Breathe. I've seen so many Cincinnati Bengals fans on social media and everywhere just panicking. And it's like, okay, calm down. We got Joe Burrow. Now let's go get everybody else. So how long is the contract? Great question. I believe it's a 4-year, right? Let me check. I believe it's a 4-year, like 38, something like that. Joe Burrow Bengals contract. Joe Burrow is, let's see. Joe Burrow has agreed to a $36.1 million contract, obviously pending his physical, which obviously that's with any player. And let's see, it is a 4-year contract. So 4 years, $36 million. 24 million signing bonus, whatever. So yeah, 4 years, 36 million. And then I don't know if he has that player where the Bengals can pick it up that 5th-year option. I'm assuming if he really becomes the player he does, we won't do that and we will just extend him, kind of like the Patrick Mahomes situation, whatever. Have we got both Vikings defensive backs signed? I am not sure. I'm pretty sure the only person is Mackenzie Alexander. I think Trey Waynes is already signed. But like I said, everyone needs to just calm down, take a breather. It is okay. Every guy is going to be on the team just because he has said the ink at the paper. They're still in Cincinnati. They're still getting ready for training camp. And they still have been studying their Cincinnati Bengals playbook since the whole offseason. So these guys are ready, and they're just now making it official. I am beyond pumped. Super Bowl, here we come. Hopefully within these next few years, man, we can get there. That's the goal under Joe Burrow. Does Joe Burrow have a 5th-year option? That's the same thing I'm wondering. I'm not sure. I thought it was majority of rookies have a 5th-year option, but with a quarterback, he will probably be resigned before that 5th-year option. You know what I mean? Like, we could pick it up, we could drop it, but most likely we're gonna have to extend him before then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Here it is, 4 years, 36 million with a 23.8 signing bonus. There it is. The information is out via Adam Schefter, Ian Rapport, all those guys. So it is official. What do you guys think? Are you guys finally pumped? I know after watching the Cincinnati Reds lose one last night, I needed some good Cincinnati sports, just news in general. And I really hope if you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't watched today's video, please click off the stream and go watch it now. There is a link below. It's 5 bold predictions on the Cincinnati Bengals 2020 season. It's great content, and it's one of my favorite videos I've done so far. But anyways, I was watching the Cincinnati Reds. The game was till like 12:30 last night. It was past midnight when the game ended. They were getting spanked the whole day, and they came back, lost within 1 run. It really sucked. So I wanted to come back and hear some good Cincinnati sports news, and I heard it today with this official signing of Joe Burrow, which is, I think, for a lot of Cincinnati Bengals fans, I think it, finally lifts that, weight off your shoulder because it's official. When things are signed on the paper, official, and not just word of mouth or whatever, I think it's very, uplifting, a lot of pressure, and that's with anything in life. And I feel like this is definitely how it's been with a lot of Cincinnati Bengals fans as they've just been waiting for the Bengals. I mean, if you go on Twitter and every time the Cincinnati Bengals tweeted something, the comments were blown up or like, we don't want to see any Bengals content unless it's Joe Burrow signing. Like every single Twitter comment was like, yeah, Bengals, we don't care unless it's Joe Burrow, his official signing contract. So, yeah, it's finally gone. Hopefully some of that toxicness is gone and everyone can just focus for the season. Like I said, we still have a few more players that I'm pretty sure have to sign the dotted line, but let's not rush into things. Let's not panic. We got it. You guys got to understand with COVID and all these things going on, I mean, if you've not seen, many players are starting to opt out of the season. Not on the Bengals yet, but on other teams. So let's just appreciate that we are still signing these guys to play. If that takes a little bit of time, who cares? Let's wait. But let's not start panicking because we could be in a worse situation. I think all first rounders get the 5th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But what my point was, with a quarterback like that, obviously if he pans out like we expect him to, he will probably be signed before that 5th-year option, like his extension contract, which I would assume. You think Boyd can still make the top 100? Well, okay, so if you don't follow me on Instagram already, I was all over Instagram and Twitter about the top because I've been following it. I think they're just about to crack the top 50, and there's not a single Cincinnati Bengal that has made it yet. I don't know, man, because if we check out some of the receivers they have passed up already, I mean, let's see the guys. What was it? It was NFL. Who's the people that are posting it? It's not the NFL. Here, let me go. Hold on. Let me post that I'm live on Instagram real quick. We are live on Instagram. Hold on, guys. I'm going to get posted to social media real quick so everybody knows we are live. Or not on Instagram, live on YouTube right now. So I said, we are live. Come talk about Joe Burrow. That sounds about right, right? Okay. So yeah, if we go to let me check it out. So I think it was Okay, so it was the NFL Network was posting it, and so far they cracked the top. Okay, so they're into the top 50, yeah, as of last night. So they're at 41, and so far there has been no Cincinnati Bengals, not a single Bengal yet. And if you look at some of the receivers, can Tyler Boyd make it? Well, let's see. They had Amari Cooper at 49. So do you think they're going to rate Tyler Boyd higher than Amari Cooper? Let's look at the stats. So Amari Cooper, who is very overrated and overpaid, his contract is like $20 million a year. That is ridiculous. I know it's the Dallas Cowboys, so you can't expect much besides overplaying players, besides your quarterback, the most valuable position in football. But Amari Cooper is not worth his contract. Great route runner, borderline healthy. In my opinion, I think he is very overpaid. He's not worth the $20 million salary I think he has. So I'm going to pull up Tyler Boyd's stats from a season ago, and then I'm going to pull up Amari Cooper's stats. Amari Cooper in 2019 played 16 games, had nearly 1,200 yards, 79 receptions, and 8 touchdowns. If you look at Tyler Boyd, he had 90 receptions, so he had more receptions, 1,046 yards, and less touchdowns. So honestly, man, knowing the national media, they probably aren't going to put Tyler Boyd in there. I wouldn't be surprised, and I really wouldn't, because they, continually disrespect, the Cincinnati Bengals when it comes to national media. They have Odell at 59. What other receivers are up here? Devontae Adams at 57. Let's look at the season Devontae Adams has. I feel like if you look at Devontae Adams, he is a very hit or miss when it comes to fans. It's either, oh my God, Devontae Adams is a top 5 receiver, or it's like Devontae Adams is overrated and the only thing he can do is route run. But so Devontae Adams, he had only played 12 games, 83 receptions, 997 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, obviously, Tyler Boyd had a way better season, even though Devontae only played 12 games. But are they going to rank Tyler Boyd above Devontae Adams? I don't know. Let's see if there's another. Stephon Diggs. So Stephon Diggs is at 54. So if you look at Stephon Diggs' stats, from last season, Stephon Diggs had 1,100 receiving yards, 63 receptions, 1,100 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. Once again, more receiving yards than Tyler Boyd. 1 more touchdown, but less receptions. Let's look at one more. Let's see if I can find one more receiver and see if they think they're going to put him over Tyler Boyd. Larry Fitzgerald, but that's Larry Fitzgerald. He's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Guys like the NFL can just ride that guy's jock. But I mean, you gotta love some Larry Fitzgerald. Anyway, Jarvis Landry. I'll check Jarvis Landry, and this will be the last one I'll check, and then I'll move on. Jarvis Landry a year ago had 83 receptions. Tyler Boyd had more, had 1,174 yards. He had 100 more yards than Tyler Boyd, and then 6 touchdowns. That's 1 more touchdown. My point is, will Tyler Boyd make it? Probably not. I don't see the NFL Network putting respect on his name and the Cincinnati Bengals name. Now, I do expect one player to make it no matter what. If you're going to disagree with Cincinnati or not, or if you're going to be biased or whatever the situation be, Joe Mixon better be in that damn top 50 or top 40, whatever it is. If Joe Mixon is not in a top 100, that is so BS, because there's running backs who have made it, and Joe Mixon are better than those guys. So if Joe Mixon doesn't make this, I don't know. I mean, they put Todd Gurley at 51. What did Todd Gurley do? Todd Gurley a year ago had 857 yards through 223 attempts. Yes, he had 12 touchdowns, but are you kidding me? He didn't even crack 1,000 yards. Like, dude, it's all the name. If you guys, it's all city or it's all the name when it comes to stuff like this. And another person that should make it's AJ Green, but I don't know if they're probably going to discard that because he didn't play. So, but when it comes to talent, AJ Green should be top in that. You know what I mean? So I don't know about Tyler Boyd. I don't know about AJ Green, but Joe Mixon better be in that damn top 40 or we're going to have some problems. Adrian said, it's been a minute. How have you been? It's good, man. Even though you're not joining the streams all the time, make sure you're still checking out all the rest of my content. Like I just uploaded today's video. If you haven't, go in the description. press the first link or just go to my YouTube. Go watch that video. It's very interesting. It's been one of my favorite videos yet. It's 5 bold predictions for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020, and I feel like you guys are going to get a kick out of it. Has Joe Mixon got a contract yet? He has not. And honestly, here's my thought. So obviously the running back position is a very tough position right now in the NFL when it comes to paying players, money, guaranteed money, the length of a contract. But here's my thing. Joe Mixon has proved to be a top 8 running back easy with a below par offensive line. What do you think Joe Mixon can do with an above average line or an average line? Because in my eyes, the Bengals offensive line was not average. It was definitely below average. But this year, it could be average. It could be above average. And what do you think he's going to do with that? He's going to improve. You talk about guys like Le'Veon Bell, who was in Pittsburgh, who had an amazing offensive line, top 5 in the league, and he was an amazing running back. And then he goes to a team like the Jets, who have a terrible offensive line, and he's been a nobody since then. So in my eyes, it can't get much worse for Joe Mixon's situation when it comes to that offensive front. And so this year we added new weapons. We're going to run a lot different. I think Joe Mixon's going to have his best season yet. He's going to have a breakout season. So what are the Bengals going to have to do once he has done that? They're going to have to pay him more money than what they would have done this offseason. I feel like they should have paid him anywhere from $8 to $11 million in salary this offseason for the next 3 years, whatever. But they didn't. And I think they're going to have to wait to mid or to next offseason. And they're going to see an angry Joe Mixon go out there and, knock some heads. And he's going to get that back. Joe Mixon is going to get that back, and the Bengals are going to have to pay them more than what they would have had to pay him this offseason. At least that's what I believe. That's why 2-3 months ago when I made that hashtag pay Joe Mixon video, did really well. A lot of people agreed. There was a few people who disagreed. But no matter what, my opinion is if they should have paid him this offseason, they would be paying him less than what they would have to this next offseason. I just feel like if they would have paid him now, but I could be wrong. Joe Mixon could be hurt. Joe Mixon get hurt this season, so his stats aren't as great. So then maybe the Bengals pay around $8 million or less. I don't see that happening, though. I see Joe Mixon have a fantastic year. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that Joe Mixon situation. I really like the guy, and if he's as good as he is with a below-average offensive line, I can imagine what he can do with above-par offensive line. So with the weapons he has surrounded with the receiver group, so the pressure's not 100% on him to get the first down because we can throw the ball this season. So I'm really excited. Karen Williams said, am I the only one excited about Logan Wilson? No way, man. I'm so excited for Logan. I feel like he has a lot of upside. This guy, as long as he can stay healthy and on the field, I expect a lot of big things. And Logan Wilson should get a lot of PT in 2020. He might not start day one. He could start day one. He might not. But no matter what, Logan Wilson should get a lot of playing time this season. And I'm excited to see what he can do because I feel like he's a player who has always been on that, doubted side. And I feel like this is the time to come in as a rookie and prove yourself to Cincinnati that you're that guy. So I'm excited by all the linebackers. I'm really, because it's going to be a lot of fun to see them going head to head. Would have been fun in preseason to go head to head to see who's good, who's good at this, who's bad at this. Obviously, preseason. Now we got training camp. But the reason why it's going to be super interesting is because now that there's no preseason, that linebacking group is all going to be real snaps when it comes to who's going to win and who's going to start, who's going to get more PT. It's literally all going to be through real snaps, season, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. That I guarantee you the day one, starters they have in that linebacking spot is not going to be the same starters they have in week 17. And that's what I'm excited about. And that could be different if there was a preseason, but with no preseason, man, there's only so much you can evaluate in training camp. You know what I mean? If Chad Johnson was still with us, combining that with Joe Burrow, we would be unstoppable. Believe that. Yo, man, if we had Chad on the team, that'd be fantastic. Chad was just so entertaining back in a time where NFL wasn't supposed to be entertaining. And, since they brought the rules back where you can celebrate and all that stuff, which was for the better of the NFL in a business standpoint, because it draws a lot more fans, more jerseys bought, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever it may be, Chad Johnson was a beast. He still is a beast if you follow his Twitter. I mean, dude can still run 20-plus miles per hour on a treadmill for a couple seconds. Still athletic. I would love to have him come back in the next few years as a wide receiver coach or just somewhere in the Bengals, training room, whatever it may be. I know he's not like affiliated or assigned to anything with Cincinnati Bengals, but I know he still gets in contact with Bengals players and probably works out with them too. So the fact that even though he's not signed to a Bengals coach contract job, it is still awesome to see him support Cincinnati as much as he does. There's not been many guys who have retired and have repped Cincinnati as much as Chad Johnson does, and that's why he's probably a top three favorite player of mine all time, just because to have a guy retire and still, oh, go Bengals, go Cincinnati, WHODEY, all that stuff. Like that's what you live and die for as a fan base, is for players to have that in your organization. And that's exactly what Chad Johnson's been. So the fact that he still hangs around the locker room in Cincinnati, even though he's not signed, it's a great thing to see. And that's why he's one of my favorites. And if you haven't, please go at him on Twitter. The guy is a character on Twitter. His Twitter is so funny. Doesn't training camp start today? I'm a little confused on the training camp days. I'm not going to lie. What have they been saying? I thought it already started. I thought that, with this COVID, it's hard to tell with anything, and especially that people can't be there. So they're supposed to have a socially distant training camp, the Bengals. That's what an article they put out. But then 2 days ago, it says training camp, meet and greet offense. So I think the training camp has technically already started with communication and players talking and meeting. But the actual, physical forte of getting in there, getting hits, I'm not sure. And I'm not even sure if the Bengals are sure, or the NFL, because, players are still voting to opt out of the season, opt into the season. Players are still deciding if they're going to play. I mean, Todd Gurley is one of those guys who just a few weeks ago was like, I'm not playing. Unless the NFL can get safer, I'm not playing. And then there he is 2 days ago tweeting like, on my way to Atlanta. Like hypocrite guys like that. Like, players don't even know if they're going to play or not. And the fact that some of them are taking it to social media only hurts the NFL. So, some of these guys are keeping it low key if they're doing it, then they're opting out. And then there's guys, Todd Gurley and a few others. But then there's also guys like Russell Wilson, who has a valid reason, just has a newborn baby. I believe it's like 2 weeks old or something like that. And he doesn't want to risk his family, getting COVID because daddy has to go toss a football and win a championship. But I will say, if he opts out of the 2020 season, whoa, would that hurt the Seahawks? Just trading like 3 first-round picks, trading the whole club for, the whole future for this Jamal Adams. And then that would really hurt the Seattle Seahawks. That'd be interesting to watch. I don't know who would come in. But, if Russell Wilson decides to opt out because of family, I totally understand. But, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. And, if he wants to value his family over football, I get it. I understand, but it's going to be very interesting to see. And that's why I think training camp is such a big, boom or bust question right now for a lot of football facilities. And, at first I was kind of like, oh, what a bummer. Fans can't go watch training camp, can't go watch, the Bengals, can't go get autographs, can't go get selfies with players. That sucks, because to be honest, I had a lot of content pushed into training camp, and that doesn't happen. I totally get it. I don't care. I don't care about preseason. I don't care about training camp. Can we please just get to week 1 in the NFL season? That is all I want. I know that's all you guys want. I just want to see Joe Burrow crush those Chargers at home, man. That's all I want to see. Burrow has been working out with Ross this offseason. Hopefully they have a nice chemistry come week 11. Yeah, man. I mean, that would be very sick to, see pan out. Maybe Andy Dalton couldn't bring back Ross's career, but, with the healthy season, can Joe Burrow, revive John Ross's career? I don't know, man. It's definitely possible, but I've said it in many videos and many streams. I just don't see John Ross, return back in the orange and black next year. Unless it's on a very cheap and friendly deal, I don't see the Bengals bringing back John Ross in 2021. No matter if he has a 200 receiving yard season or 1,000 yards receiving season, I just don't see him back. As much as, I don't want a first-round pick talent to be wasted as much as he's been. No offense, with injuries and everything, I totally understand. But as much as a first-round pick as he's panned out, to see him leave like 4 or 5 years into his career, that totally sucks. But I wouldn't be surprised if John Ross doesn't return. But in all hopes, I hope he has a fantastic season. I hope he can turn around his career. I already made a John Ross video about him. Don't sleep on John Ross, what we could expect from him. So go check out that video on my YouTube as well. It's a whole video dedicated to John Ross. And a lot of you guys, a lot of not just you guys, but Cincinnati Bengals fans have a lot of hate towards him. And I kind of feel bad for the guy, but he has one more season with the Cincinnati Bengals at least to prove his essence here in Cincinnati. If you imagine Mahomes opting out, that would be crazy if that situation were to happen. But I mean, you got to think now Mahomes on a 10-year deal. He just bought real estate into the, Kansas City Royals situation. So imagine down the road, they tried to trade. They either trade him or he requests a trade or he gets released. He gets arrested, whatever the situation may be. And he now is a partial owner of the Kansas City Royals. Imagine what kind of beef that would bring. You know what I mean? If he were ever to be traded, released, in the contract, he goes somewhere else. Imagine if Patrick Mahomes doesn't retire with the Chiefs, but is partially owned of the Kansas City Royals. I think that's very interesting, and that could happen down the road. Do you think Burrow and Higgins have a good chemistry? Well, to be honest, a little too early to tell. I got to watch some football. These guys on the field making some throws and some receptions, but I think the chemistry can be there. I mean, the same scenario happened with Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, and look what panned out. Obviously, no Super Bowl, no playoff wins, but a lot of successful seasons to get to the postseason, not in the postseason, but to get there, and half a decade plus of 1,000-yard receiving seasons and a couple great seasons of Andy Dalton to him. So I think it's a very similar situation. I think we'll have to see how T. Higgins pans out, if he's going to be on A.J. Green's level, if he's going to be similar to A.J. Green, if he's going to be better or worse. But I do think Joe Burrow will probably be better than Andy Dalton. I mean, who isn't thinking that? You got to think that going into a first-round pick of the NFL draft. But it's going to be very fun to watch. They can be a dynamic duo for a long time, and I'm here for it just like a lot of you guys. If we could have half of what, Andy Dalton and A.J. Green, or at times half of what they had, man, that's going to be fun to watch. And to think this receiver group, and then you add somebody with as much talent as T. Higgins, that's going to be a good one. WHODEY, man. Make sure you spam up those WHODEYs in the comment section. And like I said, if you guys haven't already, leave a like on the stream, hit that subscribe button, or hashtag road to 2K. And if you get some free time, go watch the video I just uploaded today. And if you already did watch today's video, let me know right now and say, hey, I really enjoyed this video, or I think this, because today's video was 5 bold predictions on the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020. So go watch that. You can either go to my YouTube and watch it, click off this video, or link in description. I have it right there. It's all good, Drake. It's all good, my man. Would you rather Burrow throw 30 to 35 touchdowns with 20 interceptions, or 20 to 25 touchdowns with 12 interceptions? Probably. Okay, so I'm going to go 20 to 25 with 12 interceptions with a big season from Joe Mixon, or 30 to 35 with 20 interceptions, and just in hopes of him, in the future, practicing scheme, learning defensive schemes, trying to pick up on different defensive players and keys and formations, and then hopes of the future to lower that interception rate. But at least you would know, hey, 30 to 35 touchdowns, we can at least we know he can get those touchdowns ball, but let's hope for the future that, he can limit those turnovers. So I think they both would be good. Just would have a lot of things to work on. Billy said, is it just me, or do I feel our wide receiver room is too stacked? Like AJ back, he's ready to eat. Boyd's going to want 1K again. T. Higgins rookie's going to be hungry. Then Auden Tate is the one up. And then you have John Ross on top of this. That's why I keep saying I wouldn't be surprised if John Ross doesn't return in an orange and black uniform next season. It would really have to be a cheap deal, and he would have to have a good season. And other teams, no matter what kind of season he has, are probably going to bid on him, even if they can get him as possibly a special teams player. Or there's a lot of teams who don't have a lot of depth in the receiver position, and John Ross is a depth player who can go make booming plays when he's on the field. So, like I said, that's why I realistically don't see him on a Bengals uniform or Bengals, in 2020. But you're totally right. We have at least 2 1,000 receiving yard receivers. Tyler Boyd's going to get his 4th 1,000 receiving yard season in 2020. A.J. Green's going to come back, get a 1 season. And then T. Higgins and Alden Tate are going to be fighting for the ball, fighting for receptions, and fighting for a lot of touchdowns because both those guys are 6'4" and 6'5". I mean, if they want the ball, they're going to have to go up and get it in the end zone. And then John Ross is going to be fighting for a contract either with Cincinnati or with another team. So it's going to be interesting. I totally agree. And that's why I made that receiver video. What was it, a week ago, a couple of days ago? That was my video before. It's about to hit 1K views in like 3 days. But that's why I said the same thing. I mean, we're so stacked with receiver. It's crazy. And the fact the national media is still sleeping, it is what it is, man. Like, they keep sleeping. I don't care. Did you see Belichick said that Mixon is the best back in the league? I think I saw something like that. And he probably realizes, wow, the Bengals really had a below average offensive line last season. I could only imagine if we brought Joe Mixon to New England Patriots, surrounded him with the top 5 offensive line, what he could do. That's why I said, if Joe Mixon is producing with a bad offensive line, what can he do with a good offensive line? 1,500 rushing yards plus, double-digit touchdowns. I'm not even going to get to that. Belichick's smart man. If Belichick is saying something, he, no matter, even though he tried to spy on the Cincinnati Bengals, a 1-win team or whatever the situation was, that was kind of upsetting to see. But, I mean, he's right, man. I mean, I'm sure that's what his reason. He's good with that offensive line. Probably right. Because you guys got to remember, most running backs in the league are made by their offensive line. Joe Mixon's not. Joe Mixon is made from Joe Mixon, that Oklahoma product. Just like Adrian Peterson, that Oklahoma product. Look at Todd Gurley. I don't know. We'll see what happened with him, too. Do you hope the Bengals can get Jamar Chase next year? Let me check him out. I think I know who you're talking about. Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, American football wide receiver for the LSU Tigers, a sophomore in 2019. He led the football. I mean, any connection that Joe Burrow has had, let's bring him in. I don't care if he's receiver, tight end, offensive line. I think no matter what the Bengals decide to do, I think we should be definitely looking at some LSU product players because any team chemistry that can come one, if it's the offensive line, if it's the receiver, if it's a tight end, a backup running back, hell yeah, bring him in because we're looking at a guy who's going to lead this team for the next decade plus. Let's bring in some guys he's had some chemistry with. You know what I mean? So if it's an LSU player, I'm hands on. I agree. I'm ready to go. Let's pick him up. Obviously at the right spot, the right time. I don't know about a receiver. I think we could rather maybe draft a tight end or some LSU offensive lineman. I would rather draft the LSU offensive lineman before an LSU receiver just because we're already so stacked. But any LSU players, I'm definitely down. So excited for the Bengals season. Not expecting a playoff run or anything. But if we even go 5-11, 6-10, would be an upgrade from last year. Just hoping to see potential Burrow has. And that's majority of Bengals fans. If you're going to sit here and be realistic, yes, we can have playoffs hopes, but your hopes are probably just going to get destroyed at least this season. Let's just hope for a potential upgrade. So obviously, we want a better record than last year by a couple wins. We want to see all our rookies shine. We want to see Joe Burrow shine. We want to see Joe Mixon happy, healthy, hopefully gets paid reasonably. CT Higgins show some spark and shine. And then obviously we got to get our linebackers straight. I want to see our linebackers really, be able to pop up. Is Logan Wilson going to be the guy who's going to be the guy in the linebacking crew? We want to see Von Bell, Jesse Bates continue to prove as they can be one of the scariest safety duos in the NFL for the next few years to come. And then my big thing is let's see the offensive line upgrade as well. Can we get some protection on Joe Burrow and shake a lot of heads? Because I feel like we can only go as far as our offensive line. And I think we're going to have to see how far they take us. But nonetheless, I am so excited. I just want to see a couple more wins than we had a year ago. And I would be satisfied. As long as we show improvement, we show that the team is hungry and eager. Guys are hungry to play, humble. I'm down for some Cincinnati Bengals football. I'm right with you, my man. Can we give the Cowboys $100 million for the whole offensive line? Yeah, I wish. Tate is due for a breakout year. Do you think it's real possibility for him to get 500 yards and 5 to 10 touchdowns with how stacked our wide receiver core? I think the touchdowns are more likely than the receiving yards, just because it depends. Him and T. Higgins. I feel like him and T. Higgins are literally going to be fighting for receptions and who's going to get open. Because Tyler Boyd 1K, AJ Green 1K. Who else is going to leave? Who's going to be the up? You got T. Higgins. You got Alden Tate, and then you got Speedy Fast Guy, depending on who he plays. I think the touchdowns are way more possible than the yards. He definitely can get 500 yards, don't get me wrong. But depending on John Ross and T. Higgins, I don't know, man. It also depends. Are we running a lot of 4-out? Are we running a lot of 5-out? Are we a run-heavy team? Are we a pass-heavy team? Are we going to try to improve the aerial attack with Zach Taylor? We got to see what Zach Taylor wants to do here in 2020. Is Joe Burrow going to throw for 40 receptions plus a game? Is he going to throw for 25? I got to see what Zach Taylor, he's banking on for the season. And if he's banking on throwing that ball, hell yeah, man, he's capable. I just really expect Alden Tate to shine in that end zone, man. I've said it multiple times, and I'll keep saying it multiple times. Alden Tate, there isn't a defensive back who is half the size of this freaking human specimen. He's a freak athlete. He is huge. He's literally like the Zion Williams of a football receiver. He's insanely huge. He can jump like no other, and he has some speed for his size. So there is no reason one time, every time we get into the red zone, one time, just throw it up to him. Every time in the red zone. Just once. Just throw it up to him. Don't get it. Get it. Every single game, one time in the red zone, I would be upset if we don't throw it his way. No defensive back is out muscling Alden Tate in the end zone. And I will keep saying, Brian said LSU. What's up, man? If you're joining the stream from an LSU guy, thank you for making such an amazing quarterback. Really appreciate you. Drake Berry, I don't think Tate will play much compared to last year as long as there's no injuries. Tate is the 5th receiver on the team and will probably come in goal line formation. 5th, well, you got AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, T, Alden Tate, and then Speedy Flash, John Ross. So you got to think. I think he's definitely above John Ross depending on the formations we play. And I think he could definitely be above T. Higgins depending on how T. Higgins played. I think he could definitely be the second or third guy, just depending on, if are we sliding Tyler Boyd in the slot? Are we going to, is he going to be on the outside most of the time? What we're doing. Are we running a lot of 4 or 5 outs? I think he'll definitely have similar playing time. And you got to think, we threw the ball a lot last year, I guess. But I feel like majority of the time when I was watching, we're just kind of running the ball out to, get on to the next week, to get on to the draft. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see how we're running. I think he could have 600 yards, and I think he can have 250 yards. I honestly don't care as long as he is reliable and he has, 8 touchdowns, if not more. I don't care. I just want him in the end zone. He can just go in the corner of the end zone and stand like this and have all the little corners and safeties just jumping up on him. Like he's a high school kid in an elementary, playground. He could just be right here. Joe, hey, I'm right here. And just have all the little corners jumping up on him. That's all I want him to do. We could pay that guy $5 million, $8 million salary for him to do that and be reliable. I'm okay with. I just think he could be a huge touchdown threat. There's no reason he shouldn't be. Please, right now on a separate tab, pull up a photo of Alden Tate and AJ Green. AJ Green is a big 6'4", lengthy, amazing specimen. But Alden Tate makes him look like a child. That's how big Alden Tate is. I always go on a rant when it comes to Alden Tate, and I always say the same thing. But, dude, I didn't know he was that big. He looks huge when he's standing next to another big guy. Makes the big guy look small. Like, have you ever seen Shaq next to Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart's already small, but Shaq makes him look like a toddler. And then you put Shaq next to Yao Ming. Yao Ming makes him look like he's 6'4". That's how big Yao Ming is. That's that kind of similar thing. That's what I'm saying. But, yeah, we'll move on to the next topic. Do you play fantasy football? I don't really take it serious. Every year I will create a league with some friends. I could create a DCTV 513 podcast fantasy football with all you guys. If that's something you're interested in, I could definitely probably get a fantasy football league with all you guys in there. I'm sure all the Bengals players would go pretty, sooner than what they should with all you guys in there. But I'm definitely down with creating like a fantasy football league with you guys. But yeah, I don't take it serious. I just, usually have one with my dad and then maybe some friends, cousin. I just do it for fun. I don't really take it serious. Yeah, super excited to see Logan Wilson play. Me too, man. The guy has a lot to prove, and I feel like he's gonna turn a lot of heads in 2020. This is a Zach Taylor's team. Last season was still a Marvin Lewis team. I agree to that to extent, for sure. I feel like it was still Zach Taylor's team, but I feel like in the offseason, Zach Taylor got a taste. He was tasting everything. He was calling shots. He was telling them to do this, pay this guy, do this, draft this guy. I agree with that to an extent. This year is definitely Zach Taylor got to do everything he wanted to do. He got to pull DJ Reader. He got to pull T. Higgins. He got to get Joe Burrow. I feel like this season he was able to get a little bit of Zach Taylor touch on it, and I feel like he is going to feel a lot more comfortable. I feel like he's going to do a lot more things his way, no matter what anybody says, and I feel like he's not going to second chance himself. If someone says, hey, Zach, maybe you should do this, he's going to be like, nah, man, I got it. Like, I feel like that is – I agree with that to definitely to an extent, because I feel like he's probably going to be a lot more comfortable with the roster he has this season, as Zach Taylor has put his own touch onto it. So I totally agree. Would you rather have the best offense and worst defense, or worst offense and best defense? Well, you always get, the defense wins championships. So I want to lean that way, but I like watching a little bit more on the offense side when it comes to sitting on my, couch watching TV. So I think it's more entertaining to watch the offense, but at the same time, defense wins championships. I feel like I would rather have a mediocre offense and a mediocre defense. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I think our offense is definitely better than our defense as of right now, but that could definitely change. I think Burrow and Taylor will have a great, and Zach Taylor will have a great chemistry. I totally agree. If Joe Burrow was studying the Cincinnati Bengals playbook before the man even got drafted, he was obviously already talking to Zach Taylor. There's no way he didn't just go on Google and search up, Cincinnati Bengals playbook. No, he was like, hey, Zach, yeah, can you send me one of those playbooks so I can start studying now? You know what I mean? So I feel like they're definitely have a lot of chemistry. And like I said, this is Zach Taylor's guy. This is Zach Taylor's roster. This is the guy he wanted. He doesn't have to come in with the Andy Dalton who he didn't draft, he didn't believe in. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the Raiders. You know what I mean? Derek Carr might not be the guy because, he doesn't have any hard feelings for him. This is Zach Taylor and Burrow. So I feel like they're both young, offensive minded. I feel like this is going to be very interesting and a lot of fun to watch. Look at Jared Goff and the Rams, youngest offensive coach, young quarterback, and look what they were able to do. They had a lot of fun while doing it, showed a lot of flashes, and I think really showed Jared Goff a little too much, paid him a lot of money, and I think they're going to regret it, because I don't think Jared Goff was as good as, I don't think he was Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's as great as what a lot of people expected him to be. Let me rephrase that. So not sure if I missed it, but did Burrow get his contract today? I didn't see anything about it. Yes, man, Burrow did get his contract officially signed on the dotted line in cursive, looking all pretty and cute. 4 years, $36 million, something like that. And then obviously if we do the fifth year option, whatever. So yeah, it's official. I saw a lot of Cincinnati people panicking on social media this past week. Like, oh my gosh, the national media are throwing into it, putting gasoline to the fire. Like, oh my gosh, Joe Burrow's gonna opt out. Oh, Joe Burrow wants more money. He's gonna sit out for the Bengals. And it's just like, dude, shut up. Like, dude was studying the playbook before he even got drafted. He is fine. Yes, 4 years, $36.1 million. There it is, right there. Joe Burrow gets the bag. Bengals are happy, and we're ready to move on. So let's do it. AWOL said, WHODEY, my man. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, man, a fantasy football league for DCTV, that would be so dope. Speaking about, leagues and stuff for DCTV, I just created a Discord with my boy Drake. So go down in the description and join that Discord. Basically, it is just anything sports talk. Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Bengals, FC Cincinnati. Join that Discord, and basically we just talk sports the whole time. I want to be able to, while watching the Reds, I want everyone in there talking like, oh, the Reds should be doing this. They should be this guy. They should have benched this guy. What is that pitcher doing in the game? And then same thing with the Bengals games. Any Bengals news you guys can throw in there. Like, this would have been perfect to have that. So go in the description right now and join the DCTV. I called it let me see the final name. I literally just made it like an hour ago with Drake. The DCTV 513 Sports Discord. So the DCTV 513 Sports Discord, everyone go join that right now if you want to stay up to date on all Cincinnati sports and just have a group to talk to everyone about Cincinnati sports. So you'll be one of the first people to be in it if you join right now. Wilson is coming with the chip on his shoulder coming out of Wyoming. Yes, and you got to add the injuries on top of that. The guy was a first-round talent, dropped down because of the injuries and the small school play. And like I said, the guy's been tweeting on Twitter, a bunch of funny stuff. But the dude is going to be motivated. He's going to ready, and he knows he can take that starting spot if he wants to. And I feel like he's a smart guy. I feel like he can learn really quick. So I really expect him to come in there and take that role, man. I really do. So I really think the guy's going to come in there and shake a lot of heads like, oh, third-round pick. Who's this guy? Wyoming. So I'm really excited. I like the guy. And I might try to interview some Bengals players, some rookies, or maybe not starters. Don't expect me to bring AJ Green on the show right now. But I'm probably going to look into maybe getting an interview with some of these guys, and he might be one of them I look into to ask if he wants to come and interview with me. So definitely. Yeah, I figured it would all work. Yeah, definitely. This is not a Bengals question, but an FCC question. Do we think we can beat Portland tonight? Look, man, I definitely rep all Cincinnati sports, Bengals, Reds, and FC Cincinnati, especially since they're getting a nice stadium getting built as of right now on the west side. And I'm not into I don't know about Portland, but I just know hasn't FC Cincinnati been struggling? I know the other night didn't we win by the most goals in franchise history of the 2-3 years the franchise has been going? But let me see. Let me check that. FC Cincinnati versus Portland Timbers, round of 16. I mean, I hope so. 10:30 p.m. Ooh, it's a late one, man. I obviously I want them to win. I don't know a single player on the Portland team, but hopefully hopefully we can crank out a W and get some wins. But I know really the big thing that I know has happened, maybe not recently, but I think in the past month or two was when the coach got fired. Don't really want to dive into that, but I know there were some problems with FC Cincinnati and the coach and split ways. So I'm going on to Sportsbook Wire and seeing what they're saying. What are the betting odds on the game? If I had to guess, the odds are probably against Cincinnati. Prediction: Portland Timbers 3, FC Cincinnati 1. If they just take out Timbers and take out FC, and it was just like Portland versus Cincinnati, 9 out of 10 people are gonna pick Portland, and that's what almost every freaking city. I'm so tired of people sleeping on any Cincinnati sport. So it says Portland is a heavy favorite to move past FC Cincinnati, and rightly so. First off, the Timbers ranked up 6 goals, 2 per game. So I don't know. It looks like the odds are against us when it comes to national media, but when is it not with Cincinnati sports? Am I right, man? So hopefully FC Cincinnati gets the win. Marcus Bailey is going to be good too. Yeah, I like Marcus Bailey a lot. Not going to lie. I really do. I think he's a good guy. Yeah, his TikTok is hilarious. I think I saw him post a couple of TikToks on his Twitter, like him dancing and stuff. I think I saw that. I think it was Marcus Bailey. Is he the one? Did he post some of his TikToks to Twitter? If you haven't, go follow him. Cause this is him. Yeah. Midsummer heating up. And Marcus Bailey's another guy I would love to interview. Ask him about his past, his college experience, draft experience with COVID, and now coming to Cincinnati. What does he expect to do? And what's he want to do? I'm completely a toss-up with who I want to start at linebacker because I just want the guy with the most eagerness, the most grit, and the guy that goes out there just plays his heart out 125% of the plays. Look, man, you can give Vontaze Burfict all the hate you want if you're a Cincinnati fan or if you're outside of a Cincinnati sports fan. Look, man, Vontaze Burfict laid his heart on his line, literally could have died many times on that football field. And not saying I want someone that's going to do the same thing and possibly kill people, but I want freaking somebody that's going to go out there and put their heart every single second of every single game. Look, man, Vontaze Burfict, even though he had some issues and really couldn't follow anything the NFL told him to do, look, that dude went out there and put his life on the line. And not saying I want someone to do that for the Bengals, but I just want that grit back, man. I'm not saying I want a dirty player, but kind of like I said in the last stream, we were kind of the dark horse. We were kind of the evil guys, the bad guys defense. You know what I mean? And as much as the hate the Cincinnati already gets, I really didn't care that defense added a little bit more hate to the team because it was fun. It was fun. Finally, Cincinnati getting some attraction. Finally, the Bengals getting some attraction. Oh, Cincinnati Bengals defense, dirty, nasty, whatever. It was fun while it lasted, and it would be exciting to see. Join the Discord, going to be fire, man. Yeah, if you haven't already, just like my guy right here, go ahead and join the Discord. We just created it today. It is the DCTV 513, the DCTV 513 Sports. Or no, let me see what it is. I keep forgetting the name. The DCTV 513 Sports Discord, link in the description right here. I think it's the first link. Go ahead and join that, man. We're going to be talking all Cincinnati sports, Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Bengals, FC Cincinnati. We'll talk live during Reds games, live during Bengals games, and just whenever, any breaking news. Hey, did you see Joe Burrow signed? You're going to be the first to know anything Cincinnati sports news, man, in that group chat. A lot of fun stuff going to be going on in there, so make sure you go ahead and join that. Have you seen Marcus Baylor on TikTok? Yeah, he's hilarious. Cincinnati sports are on the rise, man. I mean, you got to stay positive, man. There's so many negative. I don't want to say oldies because I don't want to make anybody mad, but I feel like there are definitely some people who are negative and a little bit more hatred than they should be because obviously, Marvin Lewis and everything that's gone, not spending money, cheapest owner, yada, yada, yada. The Reds spent money in the offseason. Obviously, it's been a disappointing start to the season so far, but they spent some good money in the offseason, bringing in a lot of cool talents. Bringing up a lot of cool talents from the minors. Reds are fun to watch. A lot of hope, even though it's been disappointing. Like I said, you got to stay positive. Reds are fun to watch again, even though, they could make the playoffs. Let's hope. If they turn around, they got to get a win tonight against the Cubbies. The Bengals, obviously, #1 draft pick in the draft, spent the most money in I don't know how long, maybe ever, in the Cincinnati Bengals offseason. And then FC Cincinnati on the west side is getting built a brand new stadium as we talk. Nice stadium. So, there's a lot to be ecstatic about in Cincinnati. And I think it's, finally fun. And I think it's what all the fans and people of Cincinnati deserve. We deserve, if not some wins, some positivity, some cool player talents, a lot of new stadiums. My next thing is maybe can we get some Paul Brown Stadium upgrade? Paul Brown's, can we get some upgrades at Paul Brown, please? I know we're not tailgating and there's nobody in the stadium. So why not do some renovating during this season? You know what I mean? Or during the off season. If you didn't see the article that was just posted not too long ago, the Paul Brown Stadium was ranked one of the worst NFL stadiums in the league. I think it was like bottom 10. And reading through it, not trying to be biased, like trying to keep the bias to the side, they had some good points of why stadiums are better, why stadiums are worse. I'm not going to lie. These are guys who are outside of Cincinnati, so they're going to be brutally honest on how they feel about Paul Brown. And they weren't too proud. I mean, not a lot of upgrades in recent years. I think it's a beautiful stadium and a beautiful location right on the river in downtown Cincinnati. You can't get that wrong. But there's definitely some upgrades Paul Brown could use. And, with Joe Burrow, I'm sure bringing in a buttload of money, let's get some renovations going. You know what I mean? What if we put a cap on Paul Brown and did a hybrid? That would be crazy. But anyways, yeah, I'm definitely excited. Drake said, look at Instagram when you get a chance. Let me check that. Okay. Yeah, for sure, Drake. But yeah, if you haven't already, go join the Discord. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm sure I'm gonna be active in it in a couple hours when the Reds game starts. Reds start, I think I said 6:30 tonight for the Reds. So what do you think about Kunk going to Xavier, man? I freaking love it, dude. I freaking love it. Obviously, we both went to Cooper High School here in Northern Kentucky, and we're both going to Xavier. If you don't know what we're talking about, basically a kid that was about 2 years above me, I think. He went D1 to Belmont. He just transferred to Xavier back here in Cincinnati. So he's home. He's representing Cincinnati. Obviously, he's to sit out the season. But it was the smartest decision possible because there's 90% not going to be a college basketball season. And if there is going to be a college basketball season, it is probably going to be within your own conference. Because there's already conferences that are saying, oh, yeah, we're not playing you guys. So taking games off the schedule. They're doing this, doing that. College basketball is a lot different because these kids aren't getting paid. You know what I mean? They're not getting paid to go risk their lives. The only thing they're doing is saving money in their pocket by not having to pay for college. NFL, NBA, MLB, these guys are getting paid millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to get paid. So I think it was a smart decision. If you're going to transfer, this is the year because there's most likely not going to be a competitive season in the national college or in the college basketball season. So in the NCAA, so I think it was a smart decision if he really wanted to transfer from Belmont to Xavier. Yeah, but there is definitely going to be a Kunk DCTV interview coming soon. I already interviewed one incoming recruit, Kova. So yeah, it was awesome. I'm glad to see Xavier picking up some awesome recruits and Adam Kunkel. So very interesting. Obviously, a few streams ago we talked about Xavier and UC, and a lot of you guys were UC fans. And I'm going to be a Xavier student in the fall. 20 days until school starts. So we had some talks about that. But yeah, very interesting. And if you guys are still in here, I'm going to go ahead and just say one more time, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, join the family. We're on hashtag road to 2K. And if you haven't already, go watch today's video, 5 bold predictions for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020. What did you guys think? I know there's some of you guys that are in here that I watched. What did you guys think? Did you agree with the bold predictions? Do you have some bold predictions of your own for Cincinnati? I will say, I will give a little spoiler that I did say for number 1, I do think Joe Burrow is going to win Rookie of the Year and possibly have a chance at breaking Baker Mayfield's touchdown record. So if you want to see the other 4, make sure you go click that link and go check out the video. Kentucky winning March Madness next season, if there is one, and probably not. Not a Kentucky fan around here, but definitely don't like Kentucky around here, but you know what I mean? Kentucky has a shot every single season, and Adam Kunkel actually picked Xavier over UK, so go X. You know what I mean? But what do you guys think about the Reds season so far? You guys been watching some of the Cincinnati Reds games that's happened? I stayed up to about past midnight last night watching that game, and it was another heartbreaker, another heartbreaking way to open the season. Bang at home, day 1, opening day. The next few games going on a losing streak. Classic Cincinnati Reds. But let's hope they can bounce back tonight and get a W. I mean, they really fought hard in last night's game in the past few innings. So obviously it's been a huge disappointment, like Drake is saying so far. But hopefully we can turn things around, because if there's a season to make the playoffs in the MLB, it's this season. So who are the rookies that could jump Burrow for Rookie of the Year? Definitely Chase. That dude could easily I could easily see him getting 12+ sacks this season. That defensive front in Washington is disgusting. And you add that kind of talent, day 1 talent, to that defensive front, dude, he is going to be a wrecking ball. And I think that's Burrow's biggest competitor, because he could easily get 12+ sacks, if not more. And I don't know if when's the last time a defensive end has won Rookie of the Year? Can someone look that up? When's the last time defensive end has won Rookie of the Year? So I don't know how his chances are stacked up against a quarterback, because quarterback's the most valuable position and all. But still, Chase Young, man, he's a freaking monster of a talent. He's a beast. And then you obviously have the other quarterbacks. Tua's going to give him a run for money if he starts. And then you got the rest of the quarterbacks who, they're all right. They can do their thing. Oh, this is sick. Subscribe, WHODEY from Scotland. Nice, man. Thanks, Brian, for joining the DCTV family. If you haven't already, checked out some of my other Bengals content. I'm trying to get some Reds content too, but so far they've been a big disappointment, so nothing really to post besides negative stuff. DCTV focuses on all Cincinnati sports, but in a positive way. So appreciate you joining the DCTV family on our hashtag road to 2K, and go check out some of my other content whenever you get a chance. Appreciate that, Brian. Everybody hating on Votto, but he's coming alive already. And the thing that I was really distraught and disappointed at in some of the Cincinnati fans last night was, if you were watching the game last night, it came down to the last, Joey Votto had the last at bat, last chance, game's on the line. He just needs to battle 1 runner in to tie the game, 2 runners for the win. All he has to do, bases are juiced, and then boom, Joey Votto comes up. Little duck, over second base, center field, catches it, game. But that game was not Joe. That was not Votto's fault at all. Votto shouldn't even have to be put in that position. That we shouldn't have been down that much as we were. The fact that people were in the comment section of the Reds, oh, Joey Votto striking out, or Joey Votto, coming up with the fail again. Joey Votto, not doing the thing, not coming up. Dude, stop. He has done so much for the city I don't want even to hear that. He shouldn't even been in that position anyway. If the Reds would have positioned themselves better, would have not been down like 8 freaking points. That made me so frustrated. You blame it on that one guy who's done so much for the city. That really made me a little angry. But that game was not on him. It really wasn't. It's a good one. Do you think Jonah Williams is a real deal? I wasn't into football as much when we drafted him, so I'm not sure how good he really is. Yeah, so he was drafted out of Alabama, first-round pick. The talent is crazy. Got injured before the season. Didn't play all last year because of an injury. He comes back. This is really his first season. First-round talent. Dude, he's a beast. He's the real deal. Jonah Williams is actually another one of my top out of my 5 bold predictions in today's video. So if you get a chance, man, and you want to know a little bit more about Jonah, go watch today's video. And I've also done a whole nother separate video about a month and a half, 2 months ago about Jonah Williams, and that video is doing pretty good as well. So if you want to know more information, go check out both those videos, especially the Jonah Williams one. It has a lot of good information about him. And yeah, I think he'll step up this year and do the damn thing on that offensive line. Although I'm hoping, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Drake said we should really put Miley away before he was out. Yeah, he should have been pulled for sure. Votto has been playing amazing, even if he was getting out. It was really hard hit balls. Yeah. That made me so mad, putting that all on Votto, dude. That made me so, just seeing. It wasn't everybody, but there's, a couple people like, oh, my God, Votto. Like, dude, stop. The Reds dug themselves in the hole and crawled out of it to try to get the game. And so you can't blame that on one guy. If anything, you pull them not – you blame the Reds for not pulling Miley as early as they should have, or blame Miley, whatever you want to do in that situation. And I see, Bell – oh, man, that guy has been catching heat on Twitter. I think every Reds game so far he's been trending besides the opener. If you go on Twitter during the Reds are playing, that guy is trending, and a lot of Cincinnati people are pissed at the guy. So I think a lot of people aren't liking how he's managing the team so far, but got to build some trust in the guy, and I feel like there's a little disconnection between him and Cincinnati as of right now, at least. The one record I hope Burrow does not break is Peyton Manning rookie interceptions record. You got that right, man. That would not be a good one to break. And what is that? I'm about to look that up. Peyton Manning interception record rookie. And Manning's rookie season under head coach Shamora, he passed for 3,739 touchdowns. Or 3,739 yards with 26 touchdowns. And the most interceptions in a rookie year with 28. So, I mean, he was throwing TDs and throwing yards, so they were throwing the ball a good amount. But, yeah, 28 interceptions would be no bueno for Cincinnati Bengals, especially with the receiver talent we had. I don't know what the talent he was surrounded with at the time, but we got some dogs. Wade Miley was the person to blame for last night. Yeah, I mean, you can go and say you blame it on him. You blame the manager for not pulling him as early as he should. And it was really unfortunate because, their starting pitcher did great. The only reason they choked up was because their bullpen was struggling big time, like something we've seen. But their bullpen was struggling big time. Almost cost them the game from 6 runs up. Almost cost them the game. Their bullpen was terrible last night. Starting pitcher was good. And, but yeah, I would say... And it did help the bats couldn't swing when it came to that starting pitcher, man. We struggled big time. And it took a while for the bats to get going. Really, until they got the bullpen, did we actually start hitting the ball and start making some contact at least. So I would say our offense probably should have stepped up a little bit earlier. Obviously, the pitching has to do better than that to start the game. Well, I mean, what's the percentage in baseball that you win down 5 points plus? What's the percentage? It can't be high at all. I mean, there's no way. It's, football, I think there's definitely more of a chance. And in any sport, I think basketball is the easiest game to come back for. I mean, a couple threes, 4 possessions times 3, that's 12 points right there. I mean, 4 possessions hit back-to-back-to-back threes, it's been done. So I think basketball is definitely the easiest game to get a comeback going. And I feel like with basketball, the momentum is game-changing. No matter what level, high school basketball, college basketball, NBA, momentum is everything in basketball. I'm not saying it isn't in baseball and football, but I feel like that plays a huge factor into, the success of a comeback. But yeah, man. Look, when it comes to the Reds, I really do want to make some Reds I want to make some Reds YouTube videos. I want to make some Reds content, and I've even considered doing like Reds live streams during the season, like during a game. So the Reds were to play tonight at 6:30. I would start my stream at like 6, try to stream for a majority of the game or whatever the situation may be. Come talk Reds baseball while we're also watching the game. But I'm not going to sit there and watch us lose. Like, I will do that for the Bengals, but not for the Reds. I don't want to sit there and watch us lose, especially when we're down. What was it, like 8-1, 8-2? Like, it was so disturbing until like the 6th inning. I think we started getting some hits or something like that. So I don't know. And you also got to think baseball is so much longer than basketball and football. I grew up playing basketball and football, didn't play baseball. So I feel like definitely people who've played baseball in the past have a lot more patience when it comes to baseball than people who haven't played baseball. And that's something I truly believe because I myself haven't played baseball. I grew up playing basketball and football. So, and I would say I'm definitely football and basketball. Definitely, I would say probably when it comes to watching sports, football, basketball, baseball, and I guess you could throw FC Cincinnati in there every now and then. So, I would say those are probably how I rank my sports, my knowledge of the sports. Definitely more of a basketball and football guy. But as I've gotten older, I'd probably say high school. I say high school, I started getting into, Reds information, going to a lot of Reds games. I'd say each year I go to at least 10 Reds games, like some home games. I love going up and watching a Reds game in person. It's just watching it on TV. It's just keeps going. And I feel like the commentating is not as good. It's not as entertaining. Football's like, oh, man, touchdown, or, oh, it's a fumble, interception, big hit, he's hurt on the field. And baseball, it's like, wow, that was a stunner of a pitch. You know what I mean? And that's just me not growing up playing baseball. There's a difference. Everybody is different when it comes to that situation. So don't get me wrong. I love my Cincinnati Redlegs, and hopefully they could turn their season around for sure. Any undrafted free agents we got to look out for, in your opinion? I'm not sure, man. There's not one in particular that's on the top of my head right now. I would probably have to, dig into it and get some research going. But I would say it's anybody's game on the offensive line and, probably the linebacking core on the defense. Wide receivers, probably not. Not quarterback, not running back. Offensive line, definitely, if there are some guys. And then defensive line, I don't think there's any spots there to fill unless there's an injury. Linebacker, definitely. And then safeties, I don't see any positions to fill either. So I would say between linebackers and offensive line, if there's definitely some dogs, some undrafted free agents in those positions, and definitely, yeah, just because those are two positions where I could see anybody starting from week to week. So, or backups or improving or whatever the situation may be. I didn't watch the game last night, but I saw the score. Yeah, I mean, you probably saw the score and probably saw it was a blowout. And then, like, 9th inning, it's a one-score game. Like, you're probably like, what the heck? That's how I would have been. It was a freaking blowout. Then all of a sudden, here comes the Cincinnati Reds. A little too late for that, buddy. Yeah, TJ Antone, he looked very good, man, throwing a lot of different pitches, throwing it with some force, throwing it with some velocity. Guy looked really well. Obviously, he gave up that home run there, and, that was the end of his night. But before that home run, he was looking really nice, throwing some good pitches. So I think he looked really good. And I think he said he moved up from the Double-A, so he didn't even get any Triple-A games under his belt. They moved him up straight from the Double-A. So that's good to see a guy be able to jump that high. Totally skip the AAA and come in and play like that. So good for him. And then, yeah, Tyler Stevenson balled out, man. He has to secure that starting spot. There's no way. Dude can swing the bat. I know a lot of people are saying he needs to work on, as an actual catcher. He needs to work on that. But, man, when it came to, swinging that ball, that dude looked like a stud. He looked like he wasn't under pressure. He looked like he's been there and done that before. He didn't seem like it was his first game. You know what I mean? So he looked like a stud, and he looked like he could swing that bat really well. So, and that's what's interesting about the Cincinnati Reds because, also like the Bengals, there's a lot of young guys. So, see guys come in and be able to succeed, even though we didn't win, to see young guys succeed, it's still, obviously a success in some type of way. Yeah, the Reds lost, but we saw some guys be able to come up and prove themselves to, possibly get some more PT during the season. But my thing with the Reds, man, they really gotta get it in their head. 60 games, that's it. like every game counts. I know they say that in regular baseball, even though there's 160 games, whatever. Every game is going to come down to the wire, especially divisional games. I mean, we know that with football being only 17 weeks, 16 games, we know every freaking game counts from week 1 to week 17. And I feel like baseball, you kind of get a little bit loose on that because there's so many games. You can drop a few and be, all right, it's all right, man. We just got into a little slump. Let's bounce back. But with 60 games, I feel like it's going to come into a realization like, man, we got to get on it. And with there being a game every single night, every day, every night, new cities, this and that. Look, I feel like there's a lot more pressure on the guys, and we're going to see who steps up. And I think Joey Votto, I think Votto is loving it for sure. I mean, he looks like he's having a lot of fun. But as of last night, the Cubs, their outfit, their little pit going, they were enjoying themselves, having a lot of fun. And then there was the Reds who were just like, cricket. Like the energy was dead in that stadium last night, at least until like the 7th, 6th inning out. It was dead. And obviously no fans there. That doesn't help. I don't know. I just hope the MLB can keep going with the schedule and everything, just because we've seen all these players getting COVID in Miami and all these other teams. I just really hope MLB keeps trucking. And you never know, they might have to push the postseason back a little bit because, teams are going to have to make up games. Like you're saying, the Marlins are going to have to reschedule. How are you going to reschedule if games are already every freaking day? You know what I mean? Like you would have to add on to the end of the season, right? Because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, break Saturday, then come back Sunday. You know what I mean? That's literally how their schedules look like. So how are you going to reschedule 10 games, 5 games, whatever it may be? It has to be at the end of the season, right? But that would also suck because whenever those teams are playing, everybody else is going to be getting rest, and those guys are going to be working their butt off to try to squeeze into a playoff spot or whatever it may be. And I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to watch, to see how the MLB pulls it out. But that's just scary for the NFL because the NFL can't afford to, reschedule games. They really can't. Only being 16 games, 17 weeks, you really can't afford to push a game back or push a week back. You can't with NFL. There's not enough weeks in the season like there is. And with MLB, with there being so many games, so many teams, so many divisions, so many people making the playoffs, et cetera, how many rules they're changing, whatever. You can't do that in the NFL. So we'll see. I feel like in NFL it's gonna be very put him on the IR or put him on the injury reserve for next week. Next guy up. Who's the next guy? So I feel like that's how it might be. I could be wrong. They might say shut it down, or they might say reschedule. I don't know. It's just very interesting seeing MLB, deal with it first, because the NFL is going to be right up, and college football is going to be right up. College basketball is going to be right up. So, seeing the MLB have to handle it firsthand, that's going to be a little bit taste of medicine for everybody else that they decide to play on. So, and we'll see how it plays out, man. It's going to be interesting to watch. So, I don't know. What are you guys more excited for? The Bengals season or the rest of the Reds season? I'd probably say the Bengals as of right now, just because the Reds have been, pretty disappointing and have played way worse than what they should, have been very underwhelming. And I would say as of right now, the Bengals, but at the same time, the Reds are only a few games back. I mean, they can come back, turn it around, a little bit of a winning streak. I feel like baseball is definitely a lot more streaky than football. I don't know. Am I wrong? How do you guys feel? What do you think is the most streaky sport? NFL, MLB, NBA, college football, college basketball. What sport is the most streaky? It has to be the MLB, right? Because players go on big time slumps, players go on hot streaks, teams go on slumps, teams go on hot streaks. I guess you could say that about the NFL, but there's not many weeks to streak. If you go on a pretty bad streak in the NFL, your season can be over. So I don't know. The Reds should have some momentum coming into today. We normally play the Cubs well and started hitting towards the end of the game. Can we speak it into existence is my thing. I'm a big believer of speaking things into existence, so hopefully you did just that. And hopefully we get some W's. Brian said, any news for college football for the coming season? Honestly, man, the only news I see for college football are divisions or, Big 12, only playing Big 12 people. SEC going to play other division. Like the only things I see are one, schools deciding if them themselves are going to yank out or not. Obviously, lose out on a lot of money. A lot of them are saying let's play ball, but at the same time, a lot of people are trying to do the in division games. So Big 12 is going to only play Big 12. SEC is going to play play SEC. That's the only kind of news I'm seeing. But as of right now, I really don't know if college football is going to be a thing this year. If anything, if there is a college football season, I think it will only be like divisional play. And same thing with college basketball. Just because, like I stated earlier, these guys aren't going out there and getting paid millions of bucks. These, NBA, NFL, MLB, these guys are getting paid $1 million to go out there and swing a bat, toss a football, or, slam dunk a basketball. These only thing they're playing for is free tuition. So obviously you could say, oh, well, they want to get drafted. They want to play. I'm sure they want to play. I'm sure majority of those guys want to go out there and play. I'm sure of it. But are these schools going to risk it? Man, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about, like me being a college student, we're talking about if we're even going to go to class. If they're talking about that, why would they be focusing on a sport with kids? I'm 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, putting them at risk. That's a lot less than, 28, 30-year-old, grown men, I guess you could say, if you want to say it like that. I just feel like there's a lot less a season for college sports to happen than there is major league sports. Obviously, I want there to be sports. I want there to be college sports. I myself want there to be Xavier basketball games. So, but will that happen? I don't know. We'll see. I just think a lot of people might be disappointed of how it's going to turn out. But that obviously is going to affect the major leagues too. If there's not college football, or if it's very limited, that's going to hurt a lot of scouting. The draft isn't going to be as spot on as it usually is because there's not going to be as much film, as much footage, seeing as many guys doing as much stuff. So I feel like it's going to impact the major leagues too, with any sport, baseball, basketball, and football. So I feel like the drafts are going to be expected. And if you see it, how many college basketball top recruits are you seeing going overseas? I've seen dozens of plus guys, deciding to go overseas instead of committing to college this season. One, because they get paid right away, and two, because they know they're going to play basketball. Because, like I said, it's like a major league team, so their chances of playing are a lot greater than a college team. I'm big into college basketball, and there's been so many guys say, hey, I'm going to take my talent overseas, get paid a little bit of cash, and make sure I am going to play. So when it comes to the decision for the NBA draft, when they have footage of me and no footage of college guys, it's going to make the decision look a lot better on those guys. So we'll have to see with college sports, though. That's a whole nother video, a whole topic on its own when it comes to college sports. Okay, here's my opinion on opting out. I think it's a domino effect. You have seen what the Patriots have done the past 2 days. One guy opts out, two guy opts out, three guy opts out, and it keeps going. How many guys? I think it's over 5-6 Patriots guys in the past 24, 48 hours have decided to opt out of the season. I hope nobody does. But I have a feeling if one person does, that makes the decision a little bit easier for the next guy. So I really hope nobody does, because like we're seeing with the Patriots, I don't know, man. I feel like it's going to have a domino effect on a lot of teams. It makes the decision a little bit easier for one guy if one guy's already decided he's opting out. So there's not a guy I can go say, oh, I think AJ Green's going to opt out. There's nobody I think is going to opt out. You never know. I haven't seen anybody voice their opinions from the Cincinnati Bengals locker room like I have with Seattle and the Patriots and Atlanta. I've seen guys, voice their opinions about possibly opting out or deciding, having that choice. I haven't seen any Bengals players on social media come out and say they've thought about it. But I just hope, to me, I'm realizing it's a domino effect for teams, and it could really make or break, because the Patriots did lose a couple of guys in the past 48 hours. So sucks for them. Excited for me. Who do you think? Who do you think will have the next overall pick? Probably the Jets. Look, man. I mean, who do you think? Maybe the Jets. Who else is supposed to be really bad? Ooh. Ooh, what's the team I'm thinking about, but I can't think of the name. What's the team I'm thinking about, but I can't think of the name. The Jaguars do have some good talent, but they keep trading every freaking buddy. So I feel like they're up for a battle. A couple of teams definitely are going to be up for the battle, but you know, I think the Dolphins could be. I think the Dolphins are a boomer bust team under rookie Tua Tagovailoa. I feel like they could go win 6-8 games. I feel like they could lose. They could win 1 to 2 games. So I feel like they could be up there in the lottery. Good luck, NFL season. Unfortunately, man, a lot of it's probably going to come down to luck, like you said. Honestly, I think it will happen. The NFL has too much money to lose out if they don't happen, or if it doesn't happen. And you got to think, if the MLB is going to pull it off, if the NBA is pulling out, NFL's like, why can't we? They're contact sports, maybe not in the same way, but we're still a contact sport. And the thing that the NFL is doing is they're letting guys decide. They're not forcing you to play. They're not forcing you to put that helmet on and go in that locker room. They're letting you sign, I want to play, or I don't want to play in 2020. So I feel like a lot of people are freaking out a little too much because the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the NFL has shown no signs of stopping. They've got some criticism, they've gotten some hate, but in my eyes, I haven't seen them say, oh, they seem like, to me, they are very like, yeah, it's happening. It goes back to that one article to where the Dr. Fauci guy tried to say, I don't think the NFL season should happen or whatever, and then the NFL main doctor, like the NFL has their own main doctor, I don't know his name, he came out and made reports basically saying in DCTV's words, hey man, we got this covered. You do you. The NFL is good. Thanks for the words, but the NFL is good, man. That's essentially what he said. So in my eyes, I think there's going to be a season. They're doing everything possible to do it, removing preseason, limiting attendance. They're doing a lot of big steps. So I feel like the biggest step is literally letting the players choose. I want to play check, or I don't want to play X. So the fact they're giving people a choice, there it is. All right, sounds good, Drake. The Jags. Yeah, I feel like the Jags definitely have a chance to go first. If there is a college season, LOL. Joe Burrow looking ripped. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that photo on Twitter where he was with Drew Sample and Sam Hubbard, and they were working out. And I wouldn't say he looks ripped, but he looks big. Like, he doesn't look like, cut. He doesn't look cut, but he looks like big. Like not like a quarterback. Like, he's looking strong, muscular, lean. I'd probably say. I wouldn't say he's looking ripped, but he's looking like a big guy. Like in that photo, I don't know if it's edited, if it's a good angle or what. Obviously it's after a workout, so he's probably looking a little bigger than usual. But, dude, in that photo, he is looking pretty big. I'm not going to lie. Looking good. Looking good. That's what I like to see. Man, I don't even want to talk about this. If Burrow pans out. Oh, you said if Burrow pans out. I thought when I read this, I thought it said if Burrow decides to sit out, or opt out. I don't know what my mind thought. But if Burrow pans out, what do you think his nickname is going to be? The Jungle King, the Lion King. There's so many that I've already seen on Twitter. People even making that their header or have tweeted it out. He's going to earn something, man. Something special, I'll tell you that. Tiger King, Lion King, Jungle King. There's so many, man. He's going to earn some type of name because, Red Rocket, Red Rifle, and Andy Dalton wasn't the best in the league at some point, but, he was competitive, that's for sure. The savior, LOL. Yeah, if he gets a playoff win, he might be the savior. If he gets a playoff win, he could be the savior. I'm not gonna lie. How did you react to what came out about the Washington football team? Yeah, this is a good topic. I think it's a good choice because the NFL is a billion-dollar business, and each and every team is a multi-million-dollar business, and there are a lot of big decisions when it comes to picking a team. This isn't Madden. This isn't NBA. This isn't 2K. You can't just go on there and type in a team. Oh, we're good. We're the Cincinnati Lions. You know what I mean? You got to go trademarks. So apparently what a lot of people were doing was they saw like the leaked, not the leaked, but like when people were predicting like the Washington Rockets, the Washington, there was a whole bunch there was like a plain one. There's all these like names that people were going online and were saying, well, were really popular. People were going and buying those trademarks for a couple $1,000. And basically what that does, that screws over the Redskins to go pick that name because somebody already trademarked it. So to even get that name, that person's going to charge them probably thousands, if not millions of dollars to even use that name. So people were literally buying trademarks of the Washington Rockets, the Washington whatever, and was literally making it hard for their own team to pick a team name. And what did they have? When they decided they're going to change their name, they had a few weeks before the season. They should take some time. It should take longer than a couple weeks to pick their name. I mean, they're not really in a rush. As of right now, there's not 110% sure there's even an NFL season this year. It's probably pretty high, but not 110% sure. So they have a few weeks to choose a name. I wouldn't want to rush and get a crap name. Let's just wait it out. Let people vote. Let people in the organization think. It's not a bad. I know people are dogging it. What's your favorite team? The Washington football team. Yes, I get it. It's it is what it is. But I feel like with the circumstances they were in, it was a bad spot. And I feel like until they can make up their mind, the Washington football team, man, it is what it is. So, I think it is what it is. They were put up in a tough situation, and then they gave out a pretty simple answer. Basically a to-be-determined name, because that's not going to be their name for a while. This is just a rental car. Tiger King, Joe Cool. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be something. Yeah, Andy Dalton's Red Rocket, Red Rifle, man. Those were good names for the player he was. His very red hair. Definitely loved it. What was Palmer's nickname? Pick Six Palmer, LOL. Dude, I don't know. I don't care. He's a traitor. I'll say that. What he said about Joe Burrow and how he shouldn't go to the Bengals because Cincinnati's going to ruin his career. Yeah, right, man. Yeah, right. Red Ryder BB gun. One of my boys and I already call him Joey Backwoods because of his hometown. A good one. There's definitely going to be some popping up if he does pan out for sure. But I think, Tiger King, Joe Cool, stuff like that. Joe Exotic. You know what I mean? There's going to be a couple. Talking about football team changes, what do you think about the Rams logo and jersey? Yeah, man, the Rams got a lot of heat. More heat than the Redskins for sure, in my opinion. I mean, they tried to go for like a future, simplistic, modern, logo to, 2020, futuristic, and it backfired. I mean, it seemed like a lot of Rams fans were satisfied, but everyone outside of that was kind of like, wow, that's terrible. So it's kind of like you got to put it step in their shoes, get your socks on, and put their shoes on. If the Cincinnati Bengals were to change their name, change everything, and boom, it's something modern. No one likes it, but Cincinnati fans are okay with it. But the national media, everybody outside of Cincinnati doesn't like it. There's nothing you can do. I saw a lot of Rams fans defending their case like, hey, man, I like it. It looks good. Who cares as long as, Los Angeles and everyone, likes it. Who cares? We don't care what you think. And, it kind of makes sense. As long as the city likes it, that's all that really matters. Who gives a crap if Pittsburgh fans like it? You know what I mean? Like, no one really cares what you think. So I feel like there were definitely some Rams fans that weren't, thrilled, weren't excited. But for the majority, I saw a lot of Rams fans like, okay, I like it, and supporting it and all that stuff. And, that's all you can really do because they're not going to change it overnight. It's going to be a few years even if they decided to change it at all. So it is what it is. I didn't think it was – let me get a second look. It's been a while since I've looked at it, actually. So Rams new logo. I Okay, I don't think it's as bad as what people are making it out to be. I can see the design, what they're going for. I mean, I get it. I mean, they kind of got like like the very old school Ram, but like turning it futuristic, put LA in there. I don't hate it. I feel like most of the people are dogging it just because they want to put down another franchise. Oh, look at the Rams. They're so dumb. Look what they did. You know what I mean? So I don't see a huge problem. I wasn't out there hating on it. I don't think it's the best. Like, I think there definitely could be some changes. So, but let me look at the jerseys. Let me see about the jerseys. The jerseys are, sorry, I didn't mean to touch the mic. The jerseys aren't bad, but they're not fantastic. I like how the number has like a fading color. It has like the yellow and white, and it like fades down. Blue and yellow is a pretty exotic color scheme, I guess you could say. I guess the helmets have the Ram. I mean, I guess that's what you have to do if you're a Ram or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I don't hate it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I wasn't out there dogging Rams fans because the logo was crazy. Do I think it's the best? No. I think it could be better? Yes. But do I think it's the worst? No. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the best. It is what it is. As long as the fans like it, as long as LA fans like it, who cares? That's what they like. If the Bengals would have changed their logo and everybody hates it, but we are okay with it, who cares? Do I think the Bengals should go back to this? Yes. I love that logo. That's why on all my videos, you guys see me use not this Bengals logo, but you see me use it's the tiger with the B overlay on it. Let me see if I can. I don't think I have one of those saved on here. I don't. But if you guys see my lower thirds on all my other like actual videos, not my live streams, it's the tiger with the B in front of it. I love that It's somebody made it and put it out there as a combo Bengals logo. I freaking love that. The fact that they mix them together looks fantastic. I really appreciate it. So I think it just depends with everybody. Thoughts on I was in Athens not too long ago at the Joe Burrow Stadium. Nice. Good for you. It would be better if he was there and you could have got a picture with him and signed autograph. That would have been sick. Thoughts on John Ross already working with Burrow? My thoughts on anybody working with anybody at this point is a huge success and a foot in the right direction. Everyone needs to start working out. Training camp, going to get physical here soon. Anybody working out with anybody on this Bengals team, it's a success in my book. It's a thumbs up. And yeah, I mean, good for them. And obviously, John Ross is going to need some targets to either continue a Bengal or continue another player on an NFL roster next season. So, of course, he's going to want to build some chemistry. He's going to get some receptions, some touchdowns, and some looks from Burrow. And it's a good look for Burrow, too. I don't care who Burrow's throwing with. I don't care if he's out there throwing with the punter. For all I care, as long as he's starting to build some chemistry, starting to talk to the guys, starting to physically play with them, no homo. That's a thumbs up in my case. The fact that Burrow is getting PT with some of these guys, it's awesome, man. So Brian said needs a huge year for Ross. I've said it multiple times in my videos. I don't care if Ross has 200 yards, 800 yards. I don't see him in a Bengals uniform next year. As much as I like the guy, and you don't want a first-round pick to turn into a bust or to leave your team or your organization, that sucks big time. And I get that. I just don't see anywhere where John Ross is going to fit in this team next year because he's going to want a contract. I think he's going to have some bids from other teams. And I don't know if the Bengals would, when time comes to pay, I don't think they're going to match the bid. I feel like we're cool with T. Higgins, Alden Tate, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd. Maybe go draft somebody. Maybe go pick up somebody else. I really like John Ross. He's a first-round draft pick, so I don't want to see him off the team. Just realistically, I don't see him coming back in 2020. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does. And maybe John Ross balls out this season. Then we have to pay him. Are the Bengals going to pay? Are they going to match what somebody else pays them? I mean, a team with a lot more salary cap, even if even if he has a mediocre season, Ross does, the team's probably going to throw some type of cash on him. Fastest player, one of the fastest players in the league. Maybe could switch to some special teams. a team with a lot less talent at receiver, a lot less depth, are going to throw some money his way, and are the Bengals going to match it? I don't know. So we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, I want success for the guy. I hope Ross has a great year, obviously. We'll just have to see what his future brings. So hopefully he does good. Obviously, I want the best for the guy. I honestly do. If it's with Cincinnati or not, I hope he can turn his career around and turn it into something good. Next draft, we need either a O-line or cornerback. I'd rather us working signing a vet lineman and go after rookie. We've spoke about this in so many streams, and I cannot agree. Everyone says draft O-line, draft O-line, draft O-line. Yes, but no. We need to go sign and or trade in this offseason or late in the season for a veteran top 20, top 15, top 10 captain offensive lineman that we can count and be reliable. We can rely on. I think if we get in the first round and there is a stud young corner out of Alabama, LSU, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, let's go get him. And let's go sign a veteran offensive lineman, or let's go trade for a veteran offensive lineman. Yes, I want us to draft guys because you obviously want to continue the young, we want the young presence on the team. But let's go spend a little bit of money on that offensive line to protect Joe Burrow, who we need to protect. And the draft is a good option, but is it the best option? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, look how it's panned out for the Bengals the past few years. It's just called headaches and, a lot of fighting on that offensive line. So we will definitely have to see how it works out. So, for sure. Okay, it's interesting. If Ross were to leave, which team do you guys think will fit best? Well, obviously a team that, would need receiver, maybe a team that needs some speed, a team that has a pretty modern offense. It probably would fit more John Ross style. Off the top of my head, hopefully no divisional teams in division, hopefully it doesn't go to like the Browns or the Steelers or the Ravens. But outside, I mean, I could see him on a team like the Vikings, the Bucks. What are some teams? The Cardinals. I mean, teams with young, offensive-minded coaches that could use some speed and some acceleration on their offensive line. Teams like that, I think, could definitely add him to the team. So, I mean, the thing with John Ross, it's probably going to be minimal pay, high risk. So, yeah, you're going to pay him $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million in salary, whatever it may be. But obviously, that's a risk because you might waste that. But at the same time, it might be a low risk because if you're paying him a little bit of money, who cares? If he is only playing half the season or the situation may be. So obviously, he's going to have to show some people his hands are worth a damn. If he can show a season, his hands can be pretty reliable. And obviously, his knees, legs, his health can stay reliable. There's going to be somebody who bids on him. And we'll just have to see if the Bengals will match it. I hate people saying we should trade AJ. Obviously, the NFL is a business, and at the end of the day, it is business. So they're going to have to do, you're going to have favorite guys traded. You're going to have favorite guys released. Whatever situation may be. I don't see any situation where the Bengals trade AJ Green. They're just not that type of franchise, in my opinion. But I do think if AJ Green doesn't produce, doesn't stay healthy, I do think they're going to throw a contract extension on him. But if he doesn't produce and or stay healthy, I don't think they'll throw a ton of money his way. This is Zach Taylor. This isn't Marvin Lewis. This is Zach Taylor. This isn't Marvin Lewis. This is Zach Taylor. And Zach Taylor is going to do what's best for the future. Zach Taylor didn't draft AJ Green, but Zach Taylor realizes AJ Green is a huge security blanket for Joe Burrow. So he might say, hey, here is, $8,000 to $10,000 a year for 3 years. Retire as a Bengal. Here you go. That's a great deal. To sign AJ Green to anywhere from $8 to $11 million, in my opinion, for over the next 3 years, that's a heck of a deal. Because you have to expect he might regress a little bit, but for $10 million in salary for a wide receiver as AJ Green is, with his talent, no matter how old he is, that's definitely worth it. So I don't think he'll be traded. I don't think he'll be released. But I do think depending on how he plays, the Bengals shouldn't throw a ton of cash his way. But we'll see how it plans out. I love AJ. I obviously want him to retire Bengal, but I don't want him to get a bag for no reason. And I don't think he will. This is Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor hasn't shown us any interest of I'm gonna pay this guy just because he's AJ Green. I'm gonna pay this guy just because he's Joe Mixon. That hasn't happened since Zach Taylor has been here in Cincinnati. I'm gonna pay this guy because he's Drake Kirkpatrick. I'm gonna pay this guy because he's Adam Pac-Man Jones. Zach Taylor hasn't given a shit about what other coaches or anybody else has done in Cincinnati. So he's not just gonna go, oh AJ, you played only 6 games this season for 400 yards. Here's $15 million of salary over the next 3 years. Not gonna happen. AJ Green's got to show us that he is healthy and can be a veteran on this offensive team. Or on the offensive side of the ball. So we'll see. And I got high hopes that Zach Taylor will be that guy. You know what I mean? But obviously, AJ Green's presence is bigger than just on the field. He is one of the very few veterans on this entire Cincinnati Bengals roster. A future Hall of Famer, possibly, all-time Bengals guy. So obviously, I want him on the roster, but at the right price. Definitely. Imagine Ross on the Chiefs. Yeah, Ross on the Chiefs would be him and Tyreek Hill. Holy crap. I don't even want to think about that. That makes my brain hurt. And yes, the Chiefs are pretty tied up when it comes to money, even though they made a 10-year deal, whatever. Throw $1 million, $3 million at John Ross. Will the Bengals match it? Maybe if it's the Chiefs. Maybe if it's not a team maybe not if it's a team in the NFC, but I don't know. But I don't even want to think about that. It hurts my brain just thinking about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro, don't say that. We need to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Yeah. We'll have to see. Yeah, we can't even play Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I saw that. We need to try and use Ross on wide receiver screens or jet sweeps if he can stay healthy. And that's what I'm saying. If we're not going to do that with John Ross, somebody else will. If he's going to be that cheap, somebody else is going to try this. And I'm thinking, 49ers, Chiefs, Vikings, teams, Cardinals, teams like that. Why not if he's going to be cheap? So, and I think Zach Taylor, with his offensive mind of a coach as he is, he's going to definitely open up the playbook a little bit more here in 2020 as he has his roster, as he has his guy quarterback, and as he is officially, I guess you could say, the guy because he has a little bit of that Zach Taylor touch on it. It's not the bones of Marvin Lewis's past. It's now Zach Taylor's team. He spent some money, and now it's go time. And it's time for Zach Taylor to prove himself what he wants to do. And we're going to find out real quick what kind of offense does he want. Does he want a heavy aerial attack offense? Does he want a mixed offense? Does he want a heavy running game? We're going to find out here in 2020 what Zach Taylor wants to do. And I'm all for it. I'm excited. Somebody said dump AJ for a tackle. As much as I want an offensive tackle, it would depend on how AJ Green would play. If AJ Green misses out the whole season and we could trade him for a top 10 tackle, sure. But if it's anything like that, then probably not. It's really not worth it. I mean, the Bengals really aren't a very aggressive organization to do something like that. Let's be honest. So I don't know what we would have to see if something like that were to happen. I'd be very shocked. With me, I think that if we get a feeling that someone won't resign with us, we should trade them for a pick. That way we at least get something. I guess you could put that in AJ Green's case. If AJ Green, isn't having the season we expected, there's rumors, there's to be rumored that could happen. I mean, that's with any player, obviously. But with AJ Green and the Bengals, at least on social media, it's like a heaven, it's a match made in heaven because the Bengals put, in quotations, AJ Green said he wants to be a Bengal for life. And then, AJ Green saying, I want to be a Bengal for life. Pay me 3-4 more years so I can retire here, but give me money. You know what I mean? So a lot of things would have to turn south and get ugly for AJ Green to be traded. A lot of things. And that could cause locker room issues. That could cause players not really looking up to the coach anymore, maybe disrespecting the coach, maybe not believing in the coach. That could cause a lot of locker room ruckus. But a lot of things would have to happen for anything like that to even close happen, with AJ Green at least. So that would be very interesting to watch. We are an hour and 43 minutes into this stream. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. Smash that like button. Go ahead for me. Get more people to be able to watch that by smashing that like button. And get active in that comment section below. Well, I always say that in my video, but I guess it's right here for you guys. But yeah, really appreciate you guys joining the DCTV family. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go in that description below and join the Discord we have just created today. It is the crap, dude. I gotta get this memorized. I gotta get this memorized. It is the DCTV 513 sports chat, basically. So it's just a Discord where we can talk any type of sports live during a Reds game. Why the Reds not pull the pitcher? Good hit by Joey Votto during the Bengals game. Wow, what a throw by Joe Burrow. Where it's literally just a bunch of Cincinnati fans in one Discord chat, just having a good time. So in the description below, just click that link and you join it automatically. Also, make sure you watch today's video if you haven't already. It is a banger. It's such a banger. 5 bold predictions of why the 5 bold predictions for the Cincinnati Bengals in the 2020 NFL season. With me, I think that if we get a feeling that someone won't resign. I just read this one. With which of our 2 tight ends do you think will have a better season? Probably CJ Uzomah. I said you've heard me before in earlier streams or videos. I just really hope we don't have a Jason Kelce or Kelce or anything like that. So I don't need a tight end to go receive for 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. I just want a tight end who can do their job, block on the offensive line, can stay consistent with the hands, no holding penalties, no offsides penalties. Jermaine Gresham, but yeah, probably CJ Uzomah. I mean, Drew Sample is still going to have a shot. But once again, it also depends what kind of formations are we running. We're doing a lot of 4 or 5 out, 3 out, double tight ends when we're running with Joe Mixon, maybe some play action. They're both going to get their shot. I just think CJ Uzomah is definitely the more of a player I think we can rely on, as we haven't seen much of Drew Sample. We just haven't really seen much of him yet, so we don't know what he can really bring to the table. With all of our receivers, I hope we just stick Sample on the right side as a 6th lineman. LOL. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying. That's kind of my whole point. As long as we have a tight end who can help this offensive lineman get their crap together and when thrown to can be reliable to catch the ball, that's really all I hope for. I mean, we have a top 10 receiver group in the entire NFL outside of the tight ends. So I really hope our tight ends can just do their job, block when need to, catch when need to. And, not do anything crazy. We don't have an amazing tight end on this team. We don't have a top 5, top 10 tight end on this team. So I just hope these young guys can go in there and do their job. John Cottrell Vlogs said, DCTV Vlogs, what's up, my man? How you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. We are an hour and 46 minutes into this one, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do a checkup. How is today's video doing today? What's the numbers looking like? But yeah, if you guys seriously haven't watched today's video, make sure you go check that one out. It literally is such a banger. It was definitely one of my favorite ones to make. To be able to think of 5 entire topics and to just cram it into one video of my own thoughts. Don't care what nobody else thinks. That's a fun one. Almost 200 views in 3 hours. So I think it's doing pretty well. 5 bold predictions for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020. I mean, a few of them were kind of common sense. Like the first one, you got to know Joe Burrow Rookie of the Year has to be a bold prediction. I mean, come on. So that one made sense. But the other ones, there were some other ones, and I think there were some interesting ones. But yeah, everyone has their own bold predictions, so I think that's kind of fun about the topic. There's going to be some things people disagree about. There's going to be some things people agree about, and, vice versa. So the fact that everyone has their own bold predictions with every team, with every snap in the NFL, it's very interesting to see what everyone thinks in Cincinnati. I get a lot of bold predictions in every video. Like in the comment section of every video, go to my comment section of every video, and somebody is making a bold prediction. So why not make a video out of it? And that was kind of my whole thought process with the idea. If everyone is making the bold prediction videos, why don't I just make one myself? So that was my whole thought process. I think Drake said, I think we made a huge stride making progress on the D. Yeah, man. I mean, Joe Burrow and the offense can't do it all themselves. There's also 2 sides of the ball, offense and defense. So the fact that we, got some guys like DJ Reader and Von Bell, Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Waynes, yeah, those are some good pickups. But we also drafted some guys who hopefully can be the future at linebacker and some other defensive positions. So definitely good that we're not just focusing, Zach Taylor's just not like, oh, offensive coach, let's just go get offensive guys. Still realizes that the defense needs help as well. So the fact that that's happening, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with the team for sure. Who do you think Burrow will have the most chemistry with on the offense this year? Well, I think AJ Green is going to be a chemistry, at least that's going to be forced upon him, as he is a huge security blanket, and AJ Green has a contract to play for. So I think if he likes it or not, AJ Green's definitely going to be one. Obviously, I hope Tyler Boyd, as he's coming off a 90 reception season, anybody coming off a 90 reception season should get the ball a lot, even if they're changing quarterbacks. So hopefully that doesn't change too much. And obviously T. Higgins as well, both rookie guys that were drafted in the first and second round. You want a lot of big things from them, not just down the road, but also day one. So I think he has a lot of connections to make up and a lot of chemistry to, since there's no preseason, a lot of chemistry to catch up on, but before the season, starts. So, I think it's going to be very interesting. And there should be two 1,000 receiving yard people this season. Obviously, AJ Green and Tyler Boyd. And Tyler Boyd, he might go down a little bit in receptions, but I do expect him to at least have 60 plus, 65 plus. Especially if he's in that slot, he should be getting the ball at least 70 times. Yeah, I'm punched to go watch this video after this. Did you happen to mention a certain rookie passing touchdown record? Yeah, it's in the first one. It's in the very first one. Within the first minute, you will hear something about that. You're right, Crow. It's in the first minute of the video. Yeah, I got you, buddy. I see us having 3 1,000-yard receivers this year. That is a very bold prediction. But I say at least 2, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd. I mean, the next guy up would either be Alden Tate, John Ross, or T. Higgins. A 1,000 receiving yard for a rookie is not easy. It's happened a couple times in the past 2-3 years, but it's not easy at all. And normally if they are, it's because they're the number one guy. They come in and automatically get set into that number 1 spot or number 2 spot because of injury or just because the team lacks receivers. And that's going to be hard with T. Higgins because we don't lack receivers. So, you know what I mean? Now, there's many other teams where he could easily slide into that number 2, number 1, easy day one, and could do that. But he's going to have to fight for that in practice and obviously real count snaps since there's no preseason. But, yeah, I mean, there could be. But once again, it also depends how much of an aerial attack we're doing this season with Zach Taylor. What if he decides to go ham or not on Joe Burrow? The chemistry between Joey Backwoods and T should be crazy. Hopefully, man. I mean, that's what we hope for. I look what happened with Andy Dalton and AJ Green. If we can get anything near that, if not more, we are in a show to watch. A lot of highlights, a lot of fun plays. I mean, T. Higgins is the size of AJ Green, basically a print and copy. He's looked up to AJ Green as a role model. He shaped his game after AJ Green, and now he's AJ Green's teammate. So what a better situation to be in. There's probably not many better situations to be in that T. Higgins has slid into. He's also slid into a great rookie quarterback, the number 1 pick in the draft. So you can't get much better than that. So T has to be loving his situation, even though he's not like a clear-cut day 1 starter, obviously a number 1, number 2 receiver. But with AJ Green being on his last couple years here in Cincinnati, and then who's going to be on the outside for the future? Probably T. Higgins. So, yeah, I think it's going to be crazy. They have a lot of time to really get their crap together and become a great duo, of one of the best duos in the NFL. I do think the Bengals will have one of the best safety duos and the duos between quarterback and receiver of the next couple of years. So that is my hope and goals for this Cincinnati Bengals team. I mean, who else do you guys want to see really come up and have a good season that not many people are talking about, either on the offense or defense? I mean, you could say guys like Logan Wilson. You could say, Gino and Carlos are going to have a little bit of a bounce back year. Sam Hubbard, I think, is going to get in double digits with sacks this season. That might be a video coming up. I don't know, but my defensive, the Cincinnati Bengals, why the Cincinnati Bengals have the scariest defensive line in the NFL. Video did really great numbers, and it still is doing great numbers every single day. So the fact that you guys ate up a defensive line video, I might do another one featuring Sam Hubbard. What do you guys think about that? Would you guys like to see a video on Sam Hubbard coming up? I'm obviously not going to do another defensive line video because I already did a whole video on the defensive line, but going more in depth between the players. So I think Sam Hubbard would be a great person to predict his stats next season. Hopefully double-digit sacks, a lot of tackles for loss, good stuff like that. So I think I could definitely do something like that. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a Sam Hubbard video, as I know he has definitely been a pretty good fan favorite since he's arrived here in Cincinnati. A lot of Cincinnati and hometown guys rooting for him, you know. So I'm gonna put that in my notes real quick. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm putting it in my notes just to make sure. So yeah, you guys want to see that? Perfect. Yeah, I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that for you guys for sure. I'll put that in the notes and bank that idea either until Sam Hubbard information pops up or NFL news is still slow. I'll probably pump out a Hubbard video for you guys because I know a lot of people are rooting for him. Marcus Bailey, ADG, Logan Wilson, they would solidify the linebacker core. I hope, man. I mean, those are some young guys, and for all of them to come up in the same draft, that would be this could end up as one of the best drafts of all time for the Cincinnati Bengals. If T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, become one of the great duos in the NFL, if maybe just one or two of the linebackers pan out to be an all-time Bengal, maybe not even a Hall of Famer, just an all-time Bengal, this could be one of the best drafts for Cincinnati Bengals history. I mean, they drafted everything the Bengals needed. They drafted talent. They drafted, I guess, every pick besides T. Higgins was kind of best available player, best player available. But well, let me because we didn't really need receiver, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But we still drafted T. Higgins, knowing that he is easily a first round talent, and he just slipped into our hands in the second round, and we kind of got lucky for that. But everybody else was like, we need linebackers, draft 3 of them. We need a offensive lineman, so we'll draft one in the later rounds. We need a quarterback, draft it with the first round pick. So Bengals did a great job at identifying what they need, but at the same time keeping their eyes open. Like, whoa, did T. Higgins just slip to us? We got to pick up that guy. Like we did not expect T. Higgins to slip to us. So if that happened, I'm really appreciative that the Bengals, Zach Taylor was basically identifying, yeah, we need best player, best position player available. But if a talent slips to us, we're most definitely grabbing him. And I think that was definitely a decision with T. Higgins. Because I was like, do we need a receiver? They're probably thinking like, John Ross doesn't play. Probably won't be a Bengal next year. Let's take him. Let's take our chances. He's got some talent. Let's build a duo. Be like, they're probably calling Marvin Lewis like, hey, when you drafted Andy and AJ, did you know you're gonna draft the 2, or did AJ just fall to you? Did Andy Dalton just fall to you? They're probably like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. We want a new look team, but we could take some things from the past and let's get what better to do than draft a fantastic duo for the future. So that's all we can hope for. On draft night, one of the analysts said that we will look back on the Wilson pick and say that we will say that Wilson was a steal of the draft in about 5 years. Look, man, I hope so. I hope we look back in 5 years and say, wow, that 2020 draft, Zach Taylor did a great job coming in and forming that draft, because that's what I hope we say. I hope we don't just say that about Logan Wilson. I hope we say that about the whole draft. Obviously you can't get every player to turn out what you want to, but if we can just get 3 of those guys to come in, that would be good, and I would be really excited for that. So obviously Luke Kuechly 2.0, yo, man, that's some big standards and a lot of big shoes to fill, but if he could be half of that, I would be okay with that. Luke Kuechly, man, if you don't even like the team, Luke Kuechly's fun to watch. He's had some great highlights over the years. I remember growing up, Luke Kuechly has always been like outside of Cincinnati, he's always been one of my favorite players to watch highlights on or watch him play, because that dude is like a robot. He's like a robot brain, and he just sees tunnels and like ways to go. Like he knows the running back's going through the 3 gap. He knows the running back's going to take it to the outside, even though he should go inside. Like, dude, he is something else. So if we had anything near that, that's a jersey. That's a bought jersey right there. Another $100 down the drain if that happens. We really have a good young nucleus on this team. And you got to think the whole team is really a young nucleus outside of Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins, and AJ Green. Outside of those 3 guys, most of his team is like 25 years and younger. I mean, Sean Williams, but Sean Williams isn't starting anymore. I guess there are a couple older offensive linemen, but are they really going to play? I mean, most of our team is 25 and younger, besides, like I said, Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, and AJ Green. Because even Sam Hubbard, I believe, even though we just drafted him, I believe he's around 24 because he was a little bit of an older draft pick. I believe he's around 24 right now. So, I mean, Sam Hubbard might be one of those captains in the next few years because depending on if Carlos Dunlap, how big of a season he has, and same thing with DJ Reader and Geno. I guess you could throw DJ Reader because I believe he's like mid to late 20s. I think DJ Reader's 26, so I guess you could throw him in there. Von Bell, I believe, is mid to low 20s. So even the guys we got in the offseason, they're not too old, they're not too young. They got some plays under their belt, but they're not, necessarily veterans play to win right now. They're guys who can wait a couple years before, we get into anything crazy if need to be. So I totally agree with you on Drake, on that one because we got a good core. We got a great core to build around on the offense and the defense of the side of the ball. It's not just like, oh, we got a young offense, good quarterback. No, we got good on both sides. We have, even though our defensive line is like really good right now, we still have guys that are going to be good for the future. Our linebacking crew, yes, it is one of the lower rated, linebacking crews in the NFL, but they're like, is there a guy older than 23, 24 right now? The safeties, both under, I think, 25. The quarterback, a rookie. How old is Joe Mixon? Joe Mixon age. A 24-year-old star running back outside of A.J. Green, a young receiving core. I think Tyler Boyd's 25, 26. Tight ends are young. Offensive line is young. There is no way somebody could argue with me and say, let's say somebody did a list or a video of the best young NFL teams or like the best. I saw something a while ago. It was like, what was it? It was like the brightest future NFL team. So it was like the organizations who have like the best young talent per team. And the Bengals, I think they actually ranked the Bengals like top 5 or top 3. I was like, wow, that could be a good future video idea. But anyways, you know what I mean? So I think when it comes to young talent, a young team in general, the Bengals are definitely have one of the best young teams in the league, and you can't argue that. And it's hard to argue that when they had the first round pick. You know what I mean? When they had the first pick of the draft, it's kind of hard to argue that. But anyways, guys, we just hit 2 hours on this stream, and I actually have to get up and go somewhere. But I maybe, depending on how I'm feeling, might do a Reds live stream at 6:30. Probably not, though. Just because I got to see the Reds win some games, and depending on if I'm busy or later tonight, might do a little bit of a Reds live stream later. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll take a few more questions and comments here before I wrap this one up. But yeah, if you are still in the stream right now, please make sure you hit that like button. It does so much. It does so much for me. Please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're on hashtag road to 2K. And make sure you go watch today's video if you haven't already. Please go do that right after this or right now. But I'll take a couple more questions and or statements, and I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. So give me some juice. Give me some good ones right here. And, please, I already said this a few times, please go join that Discord. Here, I'm going to try to get the link for you. Hold on. I'm going to get the link for you real quick for the Discord. How'd that work? Did that work? Let me can you guys copy and paste that link, or just, I don't know if you guys can click on it through YouTube, but get that link, go join that Discord. We're talking all Cincinnati sports. I'll be on there talking Cincinnati Reds tonight. If I get some free time, I'm gonna watch the Reds game. If I'm not streaming, I'm gonna get on there and be like, oh, why are the Reds doing this? Why is this guy not playing? What, you know what I mean? Same thing with Bengals game. So it's all Cincinnati sports, FC Cincinnati. I don't care if it's Cincinnati related. We are talking about it. So join that Discord for me. But let's see. Yeah, Drake. Hey, Drake, I'll DM you after the stream. Give me a couple minutes. I got to do a couple of things. I'll DM you. What's our record at the end of the year? I'm thinking 8-8. I've said this multiple times. We have a low and high ceiling, so I could expect anywhere from 4 to anywhere from probably 8 to 9 wins. I think anywhere minimal 4 wins. I expect 6 wins, but I think it's possible we get 9 wins. So I think anywhere from 4 to 9 wins could be a Cincinnati Bengals season. This is a very high ceiling team. So a high ceiling 9 wins, low under expectations 4 wins. I think expected around 6-7 wins, probably more like 6. So there's my opinion on that. So yeah, JB3 and Von Bell should be the next great safety duo. Yeah, if you haven't watched today's video, I think there's something a little bit like that in today's video. But that's about all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining this 2-hour stream. If you just joined, if you haven't been here the whole time, or if you've been here the whole time, I appreciate every single one of you in the DCTV family. I really appreciate you guys. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. Just make sure you guys keep leaving that like or hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, and getting active in that comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next stream or on Saturday at noon. Stay you, stay true. WHODEY. Make sure you're spamming up that WHODEY in that comment section, guys. Have a good rest of your day. WHODEY, baby.